Welcome to the meeting of the Skokie Village Board for Monday, March the 19th, 2018. Before formally announcing the scouts who will lead us this evening in the Pledge of Allegiance, I would like everybody to acknowledge that this Cub Scout troop more than tripled its goal this year in collecting and packing books for the Bernie's Book Bank. They collected 1,846 books. That's a great achievement. And so this evening we have the honor of being led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Cub Scout Pack 968 from Skokie School District 68. Gentlemen.
Will the audience please rise? Color guard, post the colors. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
2. Color guard retreat. Color guard dismiss.
Thank you, and congratulations on your achievement. That's remarkable, 1,846 books. The meeting will come to order, and the clerk will please call the roll.
Trustee Roberts. Here. Trustee Sutker.
Here.
Trustee Ulrich.
Here.
Trustee Bromberg.
Here.
Trustee Klein.
Here.
Trustee Greg Keeler is not here today. Mayor Van Dusen.
Aye. Here. We have a quorum. Next item is approval of the consent agenda for this evening's meeting. A motion is in order. Trustee Roberts, seconded by Trustee Sutker. Is there anything on the consent agenda anybody would like to have removed? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Trustee Roberts.
Aye.
Trustee Sutker.
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich.
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg.
Aye.
Trustee Klein.
Aye.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Aye, the motion passes. I would like to read a proclamation honoring one of the village's important institutions. Whereas excellence in education is vital to the success of our village, and in the village of Skokie, we seek to instill each child and adolescent with a good education. And whereas by preparing our students for the responsibilities and opportunities of the future, education develops the intellect through lessons in literacy, math, and science. And whereas the Rebbe, Rabbi Menachem Schneerson of righteous memory, dedicated his life to the betterment of mankind and tirelessly advocated for a better education for all Americans, whereas the Rebbe taught that education should not be limited to the acquisition of knowledge and preparation for a career, but also on character building, with emphasis on the universal moral and ethical values that are the basis of any peaceful, civilized society. And whereas Education and Sharing Day, USA, has been established as an annual national day to commemorate the Rebbe's achievements, and the lessons and the visions he set forth are relevant to all of us yet today. And whereas, inspired by the Rebbe, Lubavitch Chabad has 3 institutions in the village of Skokie which promotes education and sharing. Now, therefore, I, George Van Dusen, Mayor of the Village of Skokie, do hereby proclaim March 27th, 2018 as Education and Sharing Day in the Village of Skokie, and call upon educators, volunteers, and all citizens to reach out to young people and to work to create a better, brighter, and more hopeful future for all. I don't think it could be said better, and it certainly exemplifies the spirit in the village of Skokie. And I see the Posner family is here tonight, so if I may, I'd like to present this to you. We have 3 copies, one for each institution. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. It's been my great pleasure over the past few years to get to know the Posner family. They're just simply wonderful people, and their spirit, not only in education but across the board, is something that I think all of us admire greatly. So thank you for everything you do, and thank you for bringing the Education and Sharing Day to our attention. We appreciate it. You're all here for the village manager's report, right? Everybody wants to know about the Morton Grove Water Commission Construction Engineering Services. Next item on the agenda is our Beautification and Improvement Commission Awards. It's my pleasure to introduce the chairman of the commission, Ferdinand Soko. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening. Good evening to the rest of the board. And to all of you here tonight, thank you for being here. It is a great night. We will be recognizing homeowners and business owners for their great work that they do in helping beautify our village, our beautiful village of Skokie. Thank you for being here tonight. And before we start with the presentation of the awards, I would like to recognize our members of the commission. And if you are here, I will call your name and then just stand up so you could be recognized. I don't mean to embarrass you, but I need to do this. Sharon Ditlov, Janet and Ria, you're in the back. Dalia Horowitz, George Hubchuck, Chuck Levine, Ed Potash, Mitch Sandler, Joshua Sprayer, Elaine Steiner, Kathy Stevens, in the back. Elizabeth Zimmerman, our staff liaison, and of course our trustee liaison, Alanka Ulrich. Yes. Up here. Again, thank you for being here tonight, and I want to congratulate all of the winners. This year we have 34 winners, and also this year we have a 5-year award winner and a 10-year award winner. So we're going to be presenting the awards tonight. I would like to call on Mitch to come up here and do the presentation. And Mr. Mayor, if you would, and any of the other trustees that would like to line up and congratulate the winners as they receive their awards, please come down. Ed?
I'll be right here. Let's get over there, he'll hand to you as always. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As you came in, the award winners checked in with me, so I'm going to call your names alphabetically, and I apologize up front if I mess up anybody's names. We're going to start with Reggie and Adora Briones.
Gotta get the roses. We're very efficient here.
Or not.
I wore my watch for 5 days without realizing it was the wrong time.
I set it all up Saturday night because I was up at 6 o'clock Sunday
I set
morning.
all the clocks in my house, but my watch, I didn't even think about it.
I don't wear my watch on the weekend, so it didn't matter. I reset it on Monday. Next is Abe and Floraville Bulaklak. Yeah, but he grabbed the award. On behalf of Garden House Apartments, Mr. Ramon Valencia. We don't skip next. We actually have 2 in a row. 3 and 4 in a row. Ooh. Garden House Apartments. Right. Next, we're gonna go 4 in a row, so. Okay, very good. But that's out of order G, and then we go to a C. What the hell? Okay. Next, Antonio and Gloria Clemente. I know. I used to have young kids too.
It was care of. That's what I got alphabetized. It was care of.
No, it didn't say that. It just said Garden
Yeah, I
House.
took it out. I took it out. But
Oh,
in the
I see.
spreadsheet, it was care of.
Oh, gotta remember that. Next, Lolita Crisostomo. Next, Mr. Neil Ehrlich. Skip to Goodman. Next is Sander and Simone Goodman. Never made it? She wants to get a picture of you. Next Next, on behalf of the Haben Funeral Home, we have John, William, and Thomas, and where are they? There they are. Gentlemen? We lost one of you. Hyman. Next is Larry and Paula Hyman.
We're gonna go back and look for Hagen. They just got here.
Oh,
Hagen. So we'll go back after this. So let me go back on the slide.
can the Hagens come back up when they're done so we can get all of you together? Okay. All right, go back. All right, now can we get all the Hagens back up so, oh, you were just
It's
on
Hagen.
Haven?
No, Hagen. I skipped it. It's a
Oh, I'm sorry.
I got it. You're.
Okay. Wait a
They
minute.
weren't here when you didn't check them in. That's why.
Oh, that's why.
They just got here. That's what I was trying to find.
Oh, got it. All right. They all came in at the same time. There we go.
Where was Brown Street? Brown Street.
In Skokie? I know where it is in Evanston.
529 Brown Street.
I lived on Brown in Evanston. Okay. All right. Next is Jim and Mary Jaskowski. Jim and Susan Canoto. Did Canoto come up?
They're coming. They're getting around the older gentleman.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, we saw it.
It's okay. Dessert will wait. Thank you. Why don't you come on up over here? Okay. Stephen Myers and Judy Stevens. He never made it? Michael and Brenda Perry.
That's gonna be a 5-year winner soon. I think it's the third time since I
I was going to say, I've seen their number of times.
Seven? That's fantastic. I think it's a third in the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Next, on behalf of Peter Inn, Hazem Tabahi. Okay, Richter's one we don't have. I already apologized to them when they came in. I explained to them. I explained it to them. Scott and Susan Richter. Okay. John and Lita Rosales. Mhm. Okay. Jerry and Nancy St. Clair. David and Mirza Torres.
I like the evidence of gardening there. It's beautiful. No, I'm saying you can see they just water. Oh, yeah. There's evidence of water. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Timing is everything. Milt and Michelle Zimmerman.
Thank you very much.
Don't worry, he's got a backup. And our 5-year winner, Paul and Juliet Gavargas.
Look how green that lawn is.
Oh, yeah. Now you know why they're 5 years.
Yeah, well, just ready for those colors to come back in January.
Mm-hmm. And our 10-year winner, Bob and Jackie Trop. I feel like I know them by now.
Right.
Have you got space left on the wall? Oh, yeah. Okay, keep going then. Yeah, I won't be here by the time they work at 20. I won't be here by the time they make 20.
Sure you
I just hit 30 years on the commission. That would be 40 years. That's way too
will.
much.
Age you out with the rules I don't know about?
75 years old? I'll leave it to the young people by then. Are there any more winners who came in late that I missed? Okay. On behalf of the commission, I'd like to congratulate again all of the winners, including those who are not here. You're all welcome to join us in the back for refreshments, and then we'll let the Board of Trustees get on with the rest of its business. Thank you.
Nice to meet you guys.
Oh, thank you,
Excellent
trustee.
job.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you make us proud. Thank you so much.
I'm sorry.
Well, these people make it easy for us.
No,
That's the only one I had.
I know, but it's one next year.
Yeah, or nearly.
Okay, the meeting will resume. And the next item on the agenda is report of our village manager, John Lockerbie.
Thank you, Mayor Van Duzen and Village Board. Good evening to everyone. Item A was approved under tonight's consent agenda. Item B is regarding a request for executive session. Pursuant to Section 2, Paragraph C5 and C6 of the State of Illinois Open Meetings Act, a closed session is requested and to adjourn therefrom.
A motion for an executive session is in order. Trustee Bromberg, seconded by Trustee Klein. Call the roll, please.
Trustee Roberts.
Aye.
Trustee Sutker.
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich.
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg.
Aye.
Trustee Klein.
Aye.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Aye, the motion passes.
That completes my report.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is report of our Corporation Council. Michael Lorge.
Thank you, Mayor, trustees. Good evening, everyone. Items A, B, C, and D were ordinances on the consent agenda at the beginning of this evening and were adopted. Item E is a resolution on the agenda for board action tonight. This resolution will approve a subdivision for the property at 9600 Skokie Boulevard in Skokie for the purpose of placing buildings and parking lots on separate lots, as shown on the Skokie Hospital Second Subdivision Plat dated February 6, 2018. At the time of the first subdivision, it was anticipated that a second subdivision would be presented as part of Skokie Hospital's multi-phase construction project. The property is zoned H1 Hospital and is substantially developed in accordance with the approved Skokie Hospital campus plan. The subdivision meets all village requirements. Yes, Mayor, I would request board action on this resolution tonight.
First reading and approval. A motion on the resolution is in order. Trustee Roberts, seconded by Trustee Ulrich. Are there any comments or questions? If not, call the roll, please.
Trustee Roberts.
Aye.
Trustee Sutker.
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich.
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg.
Aye.
Trustee Klein.
Aye.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Aye. The motion passes.
Item F is an ordinance on the agenda for first reading tonight. This ordinance will approve and accept a subdivision for 8110 Lincoln Avenue, Skokie, in a CX Core mixed-use district, as depicted in the Neri re-subdivision plat dated January 30, 2018. This property is comprised of 2 tax lots that are currently vacant and will be subdivided into one lot. Included in the subdivision is the dedication of a parcel of land for Lincoln Avenue right-of-way purposes, measuring approximately 35 feet by 47 feet. This ordinance will be back on the agenda for board action on April 2nd, 2018 for second reading and adoption. Item G is an ordinance on the agenda also for first reading tonight. This ordinance will approve and accept the plat of dedication for a portion of the property located at 8261 Elmwood Street, Skokie, in a TX Transit Mixed-Use District. The dedicated property measures approximately 5 feet by 170 feet and will provide better public access from Elmwood Street and Madison Street to the Skokie Valley Trail multi-use path. This ordinance will also be back on the agenda for board action on April 2nd, 2018 for second reading and adoption. Item H is an ordinance on the agenda for first reading tonight. This is a housekeeping matter. From time to time, various ordinances granting special use permits and site plan approvals at different locations within the village have been adopted by the mayor and the board of trustees. Over time, many of these uses no longer exist, were never utilized, or no longer are necessary. This ordinance repeals those inactive or abandoned ordinances. It's been determined that there are currently 8 special use permits that are no longer applicable because the properties are not being used in a manner consistent with the ordinance that originally approved them. Notices were sent to the property taxpayers of record for the properties, and they were informed that the 8 special use ordinances would be heard this evening. They were notified that they could contact the plan department should they have questions or objections. The village did not receive any objections. This ordinance will also be back on the agenda for board action on April 2nd for second reading and adoption. Finally, item I is an ordinance on the agenda for first reading tonight as well. The village has come to understand that there is a chronic or reoccurring problem in the industrial and commercial districts with large trucks or RVs being parked on the streets for long periods of time. Over the years and on a fairly reoccurring basis, the police department, the manager's office, and the corporation counsel's office have received telephone, electronic, and in-person requests for help with recreational vehicles and large trucks, including even 18-wheel semi-trailer trucks, parked or left unattended for hours, including in many cases overnight or for days at a time. Such circumstances are a significant problem because vehicles left on the streets of our industrial and commercial districts block required and necessary street parking upon which businesses depend for their clients and customers, as well as for routine deliveries. Additionally, these vehicles pose a safety concern, including a risk for vehicle accidents. This ordinance amends Section 106-105 and 106-106 of the Skokie Village Code to address and define the period of time when such vehicles can be parked within the industrial and commercial districts. It will make it clear for our police officers to enforce the usefulness of streets. While this was the main purpose for the amendment to this section of the code, we also took the opportunity to adjust the definition of a commercial vehicle in Section 106-105 to aid our police in determining what vehicles are prohibited in residential neighborhoods and to adjust for pickup trucks that are obviously not used for commercial work but might, by example, have a closed compartment in its bed. This ordinance will also be back on the agenda for board action on April 2nd for second reading and adoption. And if there are no questions, that, Mayor, would conclude my report.
Thank you. So items F through I will be back on the agenda April 2nd.
Correct.
Next item is a matter of new business, case 2018-01, under the modified review procedure. Chairman Paul Luke with Peter Pyer.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board. This is case 2018-01M, a request by Church Point LLC at 4833 Church Street and 9149 through 9195 Grosse Point Road for amendment to a special use permit ordinance 17-10-Z 4331 through the modified review procedure to allow for additional floor area and parking relief. The Community Development Department received a request from Church Point to amend the site plan approval ordinance for a plan development through the modified review procedure. The site plan was approved in 2017 to permit the construction of a connection between two buildings and to allow the expansion of Webster Dental. The connection between the buildings was to be two enclosed corridors with an open-air center courtyard. The courtyard was proposed to reduce the parking requirement, as the site plan had 5 parking spaces in deficit for which relief was granted. The petitioners have reevaluated the space needs and determined that it would be of greater advantage to them and the dental clinic to roof over the courtyard and to utilize the space for administrative offices. The enclosure of the area would require 1 additional parking space. However, the site plan will not accommodate an additional space, so there'll be 1 additional parking space deficit, although the parking requirement for dental medical clinics is based upon floor area. The petitioners have agreed to decommission 323 square feet of existing floor area from use to compensate for the floor area increase. The planning and traffic engineering divisions have reviewed the proposed floor plan revisions and requested parking relief and have no objection to the request. The Corporation Council, myself, and the Community Developer Director reviewed the request. It was our opinion that the request for floor plan modification and the increased parking deficit of 1 space with compensation of the floor area decommissioned and in substantial compliance with the intent of the original site plan as approved. It is respectfully recommended that the petitioner's request be granted.
A motion on case 2018-001M, modified review for Church Street LLC at 4833 Church Street and 9149 to 9195 Grosse Point Road. Motion is in order. Trustee Roberts, seconded by Trustee Sutker. Are there any comments or questions? If not, call the roll, please.
Trustee Roberts.
Aye.
Trustee Sutker.
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich.
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg.
Aye.
Trustee Klein.
Aye.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Aye, the motion passes.
And now we
Next item on the agenda, Plan Commission case 2018-01P, special use permit.
Yes, this is a special use permit requested by Alex 50 LLC on behalf of Barry Benevisti and Amber Graffman for a special use permit for a child daycare center, not in a residence in a B3 business district, plus relief from Chapter 118-218 to allow 2 rather than 4 legal off-street parking spaces. Creative Paths Learning Center at 5129 Dempster Street intends to relocate and expand the infant care portion of its business into an adjacent storefront to the east and operate the new business as Creative Paths Infant Center. The daycare will have 2 classrooms, a kitchen, a laundry room, a bathroom, and a reception area. A 2-day care facilities will not have an internal connection. No changes are proposed to be made to the exterior of the building or the parking lot at this time. Staff explained at the meeting that relief was actually not required for the parking at the site because the daycare has lower parking requirements than which it was required for a 1 in 300 use that the building was designed to accommodate. Additionally, daycare has off-site parking arrangements nearby that the staff utilizes. One commissioner asked if the new daycare center would be operated by a different owner than the adjacent facility. The petitioners responded that 2 daycare uses would be under the same owner but separate companies. Another commissioner asked why this was. The petitioner replied that DCFS desires that each center have its own corporation. Another commissioner asked why an internal connection between the current daycare and new daycare was not considered. Staff responded that the fire code would require that the entire facility would be fitted with sprinklers, if such a connection were to be made, which would be a costly project, and a new water supply would need to be installed from Dempster Street. Plan Commission recommends on a vote of 6 ayes and no nays and 3 members absent that the petitioner's request be granted.
Thank you. A motion on Plan Commission case 2018-01P, special use permit, 5121 Dempster Street, is in order. Trustee Klein, seconded by Trustee Bromberg. Are there any comments or questions? Trustee Roberts.
Paul, I noticed there's be quite a few kids going through this, like 70, it's got a capacity for 79 children, I think.
Yes?
But how does did the Plan Commission, you looked at like the pickup and drop off, I understand it's pretty safe because they all go through.
They go through the back,
Okay.
off of Dempster Street.
And the commission was satisfied with the safety of the drop off and pickup for the children?
Yes.
Call the roll, please.
Trustee Roberts.
Aye.
Trustee Sutker.
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich.
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg.
Aye.
Trustee Klein.
Aye.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Aye, the motion passes.
That concludes my report.
Thank you. Next item is citizen comment. Is there anybody who wishes to address the village board? I will only make one comment. Go Ramblers.
So far, so good.
the amount of heart medicine that has been needed in the Chicago area, we got to put a stop to this. It's been 2 terrific games. So hopefully we'll be back. I smell a national championship.
Mayor, I second your motion.
After 33 years, yes. A motion to adjourn.
33 years they haven't been in a tournament.
That's right.